All right, back on this clutch dilemma here, right? I got some serrated washers, and I got some jam nuts, pretty thin jam nuts. So I'm gonna put that bolt in, got some red Loctite, put the bolt in, and check the clearance here. All right, you can see a profile of that one there. Big difference, I guess kind of hold this steady, but I may have to just touch that screw head there, or not the screw head, the part of the screw there is sticking out of the nut. Touch it with a grinder. We'll see. I'm gonna stick it in the bike here and see if it clearances that arm. All right, I ended up taking all of them off the nuts and putting these jam nuts on. You can kind of see it there. There's clearance, just barely. But there's a spring right here it's bumping into, which I don't know if trying these washers will make a difference. I'm gonna give it a try. I'll still have to trim the head, not the head. Still have to trim the bolt end a little bit. All right, let's give this a try. Those other washers weren't going to make any difference. So I'm going no washers. Ground it down, the bolts there a little bit. See how that clearance is. All right, we got clearance. No rubby on the spring there. See that? So, I'm gonna call that a win, I guess. A whole lot of messing around. Fortunately, getting them rivets was proved to be a little harder than I thought. I think I could have got 1/4 inch. Anyhow, bumped it up with this hardware. Gonna run with this. I think it'll be just fine. It's definitely, look at this. Before there was all kinds of back and forth between this gear and this basket, and there's nothing now. It's solid. So, yeah, moving forward in the right direction. All right, so real quick with this, got the O-ring on there. Don't forget your O-ring. You guys that hack on stuff probably know, had a similar thing. You know, when those nuts were to come loose, it would take a lot to get those off of there after grinding on that. There's like a little, it's deformed a little, if you will. Or like cutting a bolt too, same deal. But the Loctite, the red Loctite's strong as hell. It'll hold it. It's tight. Kind of been dragging ass on this project. Kind of forgot where I was at. Clean this up. Get the mating surface cleaned up here. Gonna hit stuff with brake cleaner. Spray you with that boring stuff and get her hammered out. All right, we got new oil lines here. Here's our plates. Part number. There's our spring part number. There's our friction plate part number. Part number for that hose. This one here goes to the carburetor, the pump, the oil pump. Blue one goes to the oil tank. Excuse me. Over here it talks about put some grease on these, on this thrust bearing. That there. To keep it from coming off this little ledge here it rides on. So we're gonna oil this up here. Put a little dab of grease on there. I don't think it's that critical, but yeah, we'll follow the book, right? See it right there. Alrighty, here we go. I'm treating these parts here with this trans oil. Honda stuff is what I run. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of stuff there, a little bit there, rub it around in there. Everything's been cleaned up with brake cleaner. So get that good. More here. All right, let's get that slid on. There you have it. This is where we're talking about the grease. You know, don't really think I want to grease my clutch plates too much. So, we're just going to do it real good like. Those are there. Oh, I see what they're saying. We'll put a little dab of grease there, huh? Dab of grease. It's actually more than a dab, but. You got a hair in there? Okay. Now here you go with this. All right. Just looking at the wear on this thing. Like so. Take that out. Okay. Feels good, lasts a long time, right? And draw this over to this nut here. Get this. You can see the marks on it. That was like that. Here's a nut. Yep. Yeah, it goes that way. This is a and so we're at 27 foot-pounds, 46. That's a pretty big variance. All right, got it set up at 45 foot-pounds here. Torque this nut. It's 19 mil on there. Oof. That plate was in there, like from gear to gear in this basket, there's like nothing. So them rubbers tightened it right on up. All right, real quick, Tusk, Rocky Mountain. Yep, these things are great. Definitely a good tool to have. All right, real quick, there's these new plates I have. They don't have this here. You can see that cutaway. Nothing like that. But if you do have them, it talks about do not overlap the cutaways with each other. So it'd be like that there. You know, you'd have them offset from each other. These new plates, they don't have it. So I'm just going to get them wet with some oil here. Get them, stack this metal one in first. Well, this one. And then I'll get my frictions wet and not going to soak them, just going to get them damp and start stacking plates in there. There we go. Basically, just a little quick looby-dooby around these, get them wet. get them in the bike. And of course I opened the bag up. Oh shit, man. Didn't open the bag up yet. Yeah. Appear to be clean. I've put plates in wet, you know, where you soak them, put them in dry. We'll call this, you know, not soaking them, but definitely getting them wet. Nothing crazy though. And rocking out. So I'll continue to do that until all the plates are gone. And we'll get the pressure plate on. All right, real quick, the book mentions it, so I'll mention it. Install the clutch plates, friction plates, cushion rings in their proper sequence. When I took this apart, there was no cushion rings. From looking on the internet, IPC, it's like something that, a ring that goes in between these, a rubber ring. Priced them out, I think Rocky Mountain had them, but by the time you add up how many there were, it was like, man, it's a lot of money. And this didn't have them. So I'm like, maybe I don't need them. I'm looking at how this is where it's at. I think if you were sticking them in there, you'd run out of space real quick. You run out of real estate. So I don't quite get it. Never had a bike that had them. Maybe somebody could drop a comment, say, yeah, you got to have those. You're screwing up. It's not going to work right. I think it'll work. But, yeah, push rod. Let's not forget this. This goes in here. Two of them, one on the other side. This one's on this side. These kind of got a bevel to them. Had them kind of facing this direction. They're all facing that same way. I don't think it matters if it goes the other way, but they're all in the same order. Just the OCD thing going there is that. But see, new springs, screws, and I couldn't find any Torx in here for any of that. And I guess there isn't. I mean, looking at my other bikes, their books just to compare, but this book's kind of weird. I can't say that I'd recommend it. It shows disassembly stuff, measurements, doesn't show much assembly stuff. Here's the book, by the way. Heads up, you know, maybe Chilton or Hayes has got a better one. Not gonna find out. Not getting another book. Gonna throw this together. Is what it is. Spent a lot on that book already, but it's got good pictures and measurements. But you know, some assembly stuff. You may want to look up Torx on maybe standard hardware Torx. One of the other books you got maybe will have that for size bolts and what the Torx would be. Enough rambling on. Let's get this plate on. All right, lightly oiled this surface here. Stay. New springs, a little rusty. Gonna run them down even. You know, kind of just draw them in evenly. Kind of opposing each other. Some bikes, there's these springs and screws, there could be some adjustment there, how the clutch performs. Messing around with the old quad racers and the old CR dirt bikes, these you just kind of put them in and that's it. You know, BSA's, the old A65, there's, you know, everybody's got their reasoning on how they do it or whatever. The book really doesn't specify very much either. Some of this stuff you kind of got to shoot from the hip. I'll just speed this up here. All right, they're all even. They all kind of bottomed out. Got a penny right here. And basically, taking a wrench, screwdriver with a wrench, putting pressure on it here, and getting them, they're just Phillips. You can only go so tight for the, obviously will start to strip. Keep pressure on it. If you feel that starting to slip, call it. Seems, yeah, it's starting to slip. People use that impact driver to do them. I don't think you need to go that crazy. The ones that got hex heads to them, that's good. You don't sit there and hit those with an impact, you just ratchet them on. Make my way around, make sure they're good. Okay. Get my penny back. There we go. That's dialed in there. Pulling the clutch lever a little bit, see how much movement I had here. Seems to be clutching, doing its thing. I have to do some final adjustments, but for now, I'm gonna grease the gasket, get this cover put back on here. Part number for the gasket. Gonna apply some grease to it and get it stuck on the engine case there. All greased up. All right, got that outer case half all greased up. Got my map here of bolts. Let's get her on there. Junk bolt. Forgot all about that one. Oakley dokley, everything looks like it's ready to rock. Come on, little fella. Yeah. Seated right on up. I like it. A little excess hose there. Oh, man. Okay, let's start at the bottom. Bolt here. We'll go to the top. Let's bolt up here. Wow. I don't think this hardware is right. Oh my God. I probably should look for a bolt kit online, maybe. Oh yeah, she's a long one. Kind of snuggle them in here for now. Might have to look for a replacement for that junk bolt to my CR stash of hardware. Find something in there, it'll probably work. The sound of those threads, I probably should have cleaned those holes out. Yeah, that's something you should do. Q-tips, brake cleaner. Yeah. I didn't do any of that. A tap, obviously. Get silicone out or any kind of junk out of there. It's been left in there. mean, some guys would use a cordless right about now and just let it rip, you know. Kind of not trying to do that. But I can see why, you know. Get her done quicker. And I'd be my luck, I'd snap something. All right, this one goes where the pump's at. It's inside here. If you're taking it apart, don't forget, there's a bolt right in here. Back starting to bark. Be headed for the couch after this. I find another bolt here. Honestly, some of these bolts seem a little short. Maybe not. Did it shouldered out? Yeah, like this one here. Another one I'm suspect of. Needle those. Well, it's longer than that one. This one here is a little short. Let's get a flashlight in there. Maybe it's supposed to be. No, that's a CR stash. That's bottomed out. Gotta light my face. That looks like that's short. Grab another out of the CR stash. Same length. Skosh longer. One of these seems like nothing to it. That one's good. All right, just gonna go over them all real quick. All right, here's where I'm at for tonight. Back's starting to bark. I'm gonna take this line. It's an oil injection line. It's the old one. I'm gonna get this thing manipulated where I could drain whatever. I don't know how old this oil is. I'm just gonna drain it out and when I hook this new line up, that way it's gonna let it drain overnight. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, into that pan. I don't know. That oil looks pretty good. I may run that. All right, here we are. Try to get a few things done here this morning. I did notice looking up some stuff last night. There's a spring. Should be there. And that pedal to that boss on the frame there. Seen one on eBay. Gonna get that ordered up. Here's a picture of it here. The parts catalog. Anyways, this morning, so we get the drain plug put in the bottom of the engine case here for the trans oil. Get the trans oil in there. Get this oil line hooked up to the tank. Put some oil in there. See if I have any leaks. I didn't use like Yamaha on this case half. I'll show in one area on the book on the back side of that driven gear. There's a little bit of wear. Don't think it'll be a problem, but never know, you know, might have to get back in here. I figured I'd just grease the gasket and see what happens, you know. Maybe she'll hold. That'll be good. No leaks, hopefully. But yeah, started assembling hooking up these oil lines. All right, got the oil line hooked up to the tank there. Looking through my photos, couldn't really tell if that fed through there. It looked like it was right next to it. But it also has this. I don't see a sense in kinking that thing and going over to here. And I cut a little short, so yeah, that's where it's going. It's like 650 cc's there for the trans oil. I was going to use my mixing cup here, but I started looking, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. this Honda oil, which I forgot about, trans oil, has measurements right on the side. So 650 we got here. Let's take it down to about there, and then I check the dipstick. Oh yeah, drain plug's in. It's a good sign, nothing's coming out so far, you know. You know, you always worry about like this Kickstarter shaft seal. You always think, oh, should I have changed that? Is it gonna leak? Sometimes you do just fine. That's gonna take a minute. All right, I got probably about 150 cc's more to go off this graduation marks here on this bottle, and this dipstick's reading like it's at the high mark already. I'm not sure it's the original stick or not. Just going off what's not supposed to be in the case. Going off what I put in so far, it's already reading. I'm going to keep adding a little bit and check the dipstick. Maybe it won't change much. Not sure. You know, it's a little, that would make it a little low on oil. It wouldn't make it a lot low. All right, so it's reading a little high in the dipstick with putting 650 in there. Also noticed maybe there's an O-ring that's supposed to go there. Not sure. Usually seems like there is O-rings that go there. On other ones I've dealt with, let's get the. I'm actually going to filter out this oil into that pan. One of these filters here. Put that back in the tank. Why not, right? Save a few bucks. It's a lot of oil. All right, so I filtered it into here, and got a funnel up there. Gonna filter it again. Even I don't think there's anything in it. That pan was fairly clean, but you know, there we go. Saving the environment, reusing oil. There it goes. I imagine, guessing, those kids were running the crap out of that bike anyhow. The oil I probably got in here that's in a container over there is probably older than the oil that was in this thing. You know, kids, they just run, and ride. All right, I mentioned some wear on the clutch basket or primary driven gear, as they call it in the book here, number 1. There's a little bit of wear right here where it engages with the with 16 here. See, kick pinion gear, Kickstarter, you know, pinion gear that drives this. This thing kicks over just fine. There wasn't any, like, it's not there's any slippage or anything going on, but it did show a little bit of wear there. In case anybody noticed, I think that main reason for being in here was the wear we had in here. The plate's not moving as much. And the back and forth between the basket and this driven gear, the rubber cushions being worn out. That's damn near fairly close to being topped off. It must have been pretty full on oil. I don't remember that I just looked in that sight. I don't remember ever opening this cap up to look in there correctly. Didn't have an O-ring on there either. There's an overflow tube. Huh. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. That's it for this video. Anyhow, take her easy and have a good weekend. Later.